Ah, the world of knockoffs. We've all seen examples of knockoffs, from fake Air Jordans to the Great Value brand of cereal at the grocery store, or even directly in our train world, the iconic Leo Kim video Dark Side Thomas and Friends videos. Every massive brand and pop culture icon has its cheap copies and clones, and railroads are no different. I've dug deep in my memory and the internet to find as many examples as possible of Class 1 railroads having their name, branding, logo, and paint schemes ripped off. So today, let's look at knockoff versions of railroad companies. When I say knockoff, I'm basically referring to either an unlicensed product wearing a railroad's name, or a product that clearly took inspiration from a railroad or their paint scheme, but made some minor changes to avoid there being a copyright infringement. For the sake of this video, I stuck to the four main North American Class 1s, CSX, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, and BNSF. Okay, I've talked up this video concept for far too long, so let's see some results. Starting off strong, let's look at CSX, my personal favorite of the Class 1s. Even though CSX had a number of paint schemes over the years, they had essentially two that I think most people would recognize, the YN2 scheme and the current YN3 scheme. So most of these examples are deviations of those paint schemes to me. Starting off strong are the good people over at LEGO with the engine from their 2014 City cargo train set. While LEGO usually bases their city trains off of European designs, they went with a very American-looking GP40 style diesel with a color combination very similar to CSX this year. I wasn't the only person who noticed this, because within literal hours of this set's announcement, people started selling stickers on eBay that you could use to make it look like a CSX engine. I know this because I had this set and I bought the stickers. Next up is Powertrains, the beloved battery series of train sets that used to be sold by Jax Pacific. Powertrains had two engines that I would consider to be CSX copycats. The engine in their flagship autoloader City train from Power Series 1.0, and the Powertrains 2.0 starter set from much later in the series run. Another iconic battery-operated set is everyone's favorite GeoTrax that we talk about surprisingly often on this channel. GeoTrax is guilty of a CSX copycat, with this engine from the All About Trains set looking a little too much like a YN2 engine for it to be a coincidence. Everyone knows LEGO and Powertrains and GeoTrax, but for the last two entries in the CSX section of this video, we're going to tread far into unknown territory with two completely random one-off pieces. The first of which being one of those pullback train engine toys that was always sold at gift shops, at train museums, and excursion railroads, at least when I was growing up. I always remembered seeing this in stores and being like, yeah, that's a CSX engine. The name that replaces CSX on the side is New York to Illinois, which also seems like a nod to CSX, as that was the route of the famous New York Central water level route, which is now one of CSX's busiest lines. And finally, let's take a look at this random generic wooden train set sold on Amazon under the Conductor Carl brand, featuring plenty of typical looking bland train cars, and lo and behold, a YN2 diesel. The font is identical to the CSX font, and they even replaced the yellow lightning bolts around the number with a similar wing design. Good work, Conductor Carl. Staying on the East Coast, let's quickly look at a couple of Norfolk Southern clones. It's kind of hard to really pick out any copies of Norfolk Southern, since it's not really fair to claim that any black engine with white text is a knockoff, but in that same series of pullback engines I talked about earlier, there was one clear copy of NS in terms of paint scheme, and another in terms of road name. Forget Norfolk Southern, we got North Southern here, folks. Honestly, this looks like something PRLX would have leased to NS in like 2017. I probably would have tried to shoot it too. Moving west, let's take a look at our good friends over at BNSF. The orange pumpkin is certainly an iconic freight scheme, just like CSX's YN2, and for the heck of it, let's throw in some additional Santa Fe and Burlington Northern examples as well. Powertrains is back with another fine addition to this video, featuring the BNSF Gevo lookalike that was featured in a logging train set. Well, as this video proves, copying is the biggest form of flattery, and after Powertrains was discontinued, another company overseas got a hold of the tooling for these trains and started making their own copies of the Powertrains line, which included this beauty, which in case you couldn't notice is a train. Thank you, AliExpress. There have also been some fake LEGO train sets rocking fake BNSF engines that have showed up on Amazon and AliExpress over the last couple of years. They honestly look pretty good, and the prices are very reasonable. I might need to order one of these sometime and see if it's even worth picking up. Do you guys remember when LEGO made a BNSF set? Man, I wish they'd get back to stuff like that. Speaking of fake LEGO, many years ago there was a company called Enlighten that sold super cheap but very good looking clones of retired LEGO train designs. They faded away abruptly about a decade ago, but were fairly well known in the brick train community while they were produced. One of their finest products has to be this complete knockoff of the LEGO Santa Fe F unit that beautifully mashed up two fallen flags, resulting in the peculiar Frisco Fe name being used on this engine. That's pretty odd, but not as odd as our friend Conductor Carl, who is back again with another instant classic, the F&B Auto Boxcar. Something about this looks a little familiar, doesn't it? And last up, let's check out Union Pacific, the biggest Class 1, which surprisingly only has a few entries that I could find. Funnily enough, 3 of the 4 examples are LEGO knockoffs. The first 2 look to be maybe made by the same company as those BNSF sets that we looked at earlier. Once again, they both look pretty good. But the one that I'm nostalgic about is the Enlightened Union Pacific engine, which ripped off the LEGO BNSF GP38 set. I'm certain that no one at UP gave Enlightened Brick permission to slap their branding all over this thing, but they didn't care and produced this gem, which was for some reason just called Black Locomotive. I did buy this back in the day. I think I was in middle school, and I remember this costing $19.99 on eBay. Those were the days. And last but not least, we're back in the pullback department with 2 more examples of UP copycats. The Power Pacific SD locomotive and the Pacific Express F unit. Thank you, Classic Loco Pullback Series. Your Union Pacific copies are almost as believable as your Photoshop skills. I feel so bad for that poor Lionel F unit that got dragged through Microsoft Paint to make this box art. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments, and be on the lookout for more very soon.